Welcome to the deep dive.
Yeah.
This is where we try to sift through, well, stacks of information, research, all that stuff, to bring you those moments that kind of make you go, aha.
Yeah, those surprising facts.
Exactly. And today, we're taking a deep dive into something I think touches pretty much all of us. The life we don't post online, that hidden world. So if you've ever scrolled through your feed, seen those like perfect lives flashing by and had that little pang of, wait, am I the only one not thriving 24/7? Then yeah, this one's definitely for you.
Absolutely.
We're going to unpack the curated self versus, our actual messy offline lives.
And our mission here really is just that. We've looked at quite a range of sources: sociological studies, psychology, personal reflections.
Right.
And the goal is to understand the gap, between the online picture and the real deal. It's not about judging anyone's post. It's more about getting real, understanding ourselves and others better in this, digital age.
Okay, so let's unpack this kind of central truth that kept coming up in the sources. Basically, nobody's life looks like their social media feed.
Not even close, usually.
It's kind of like watching a movie trailer and thinking that's the entire film, right? The trailer's just the explosions, the big moments, the perfect lines.
That's such a good analogy. Because what's really fascinating here, and the sources dig into this, is how platforms sort of encourage that.
How so?
Well, the algorithms, right. They often prioritize stuff that's polished, super engaging. So it creates this feedback loop where we learn, maybe subconsciously, that the smiles, the wins, the perfect latte art.
Oh, the latte art.
That stuff gets more attention.
Right.
And it ties into, basic psychology, self-presentation, social comparison theory. We're kind of wired to see how we stack up.
Yeah, and social media just gives us this giant, often kind of warped mirror to do that comparison.
Exactly. Amplified and distorted.
Because what we do post, the wins, the great vacation pics, maybe the gym selfies, that's the highlight reel.
Yeah.
But the sources were so clear. Life isn't just a highlight reel.
No.
It's the whole movie. It's got bloopers, behind-the-scenes stuff, plot twists nobody saw coming. We don't usually post the morning we could, literally couldn't drag ourselves out of bed.
Or the panic attack before a meeting.
Right. Or just those quiet moments of, what am I even doing?
And this raises a really important question, doesn't it, about the psychological side. When we're only putting out our best self and mostly seeing everyone else's best self, it creates this subtle distortion.
Yeah.
The sources talk about something called self-discrepancy theory, basically the gap between who we feel we are and who we think we should be, or our ideal self. Well, social media can make that gap feel huge.
And that leads to feeling kind of inadequate.
It can, yeah. Even though, like you said, everyone's doing the same thing, it's a really common experience, almost universal, actually.
I think everyone's felt this. Have you ever been scrolling, maybe you're sitting in a room that's a total mess, laundry everywhere, and you just feel like you're completely falling behind, like everyone else has it figured out. They bought the house, launched the amazing business, they're in Bali again.
Oh, yeah.
While you're just, trying to follow IKEA instructions with a missing Allen key.
That image it hits home, doesn't it? Because it taps right into those really human anxieties. Comparison culture, FOMO, the pressure to hit milestones. Social media just turns the volume way up on all that.
Definitely.
But connecting this to the bigger picture, the sources show that realizing you're not alone in those struggles, that feeling lost in your 20s or doubting your career path, that's incredibly relieving for people.
It normalizes it.
Exactly, it normalizes it, which is key to kind of lessening its negative power.
Or how about, this really struck me from the sources. Have you ever had a proper meltdown, maybe a panic attack?
Yeah.
And then 30 minutes later, you post a perfectly happy selfie.
Ooh.
You put on the brave face, find the good lighting, hit share, everything's amazing.
Yeah.
That is the life you don't post. And seriously, you are so not alone in that.
Absolutely not. The sources are full of those kinds of contrasts.
Those moments, right?
Yeah.
Crying in the bathroom, feeling lonely in a crowd, just struggling, figuring things out.
And it's so important to see those moments not as failures or not signs you're doing it wrong. They're just part of being human.
Yeah.
The sources really emphasize this, realizing others feel this way too. It breaks down that isolation that comparison creates. It's about seeing our shared humanity, not just individual shortcomings.
Okay, so this brings us somewhere really crucial, I think. Here's where it gets really interesting. Why it is genuinely okay not to be okay. Because the world, especially online, is always telling us, show your best self, put on a brave face, be polished.
Right, perform.
But the sources, They point to something way more powerful and honestly, more liberating. Being honest about your real self. The messy, sometimes confused, imperfect, totally human you.
And what's fascinating is this isn't just a nice idea. There's science here. The sources touch on the benefits neurologically, socially, of being authentic.
Like what?
Well, when we practice what's sometimes called selective vulnerability, maybe just with one person we trust, it can actually trigger oxytocin, the bonding hormone.
Wow.
So it's not weakness, it's actually a powerful way to connect. It's about redefining strength, maybe. Not as never struggling, but as having the guts to admit when you are.
Yeah, totally.
And when one person does that, share something real, it has this ripple effect. It kind of gives other people permission to take off their masks too.
Exactly. And then suddenly we're not all stuck in this exhausting game of pretending everything's perfect.
Right.
We're actually building real connections.
Yeah.
Community based on, reality,
Yeah.
not just the shiny trailer version, it feels like. Like you can finally breathe, right?
It does. And connecting that to the bigger picture, the sources just keep reinforcing that the shift towards authenticity, it's fundamental for our well-being.
How so?
It lets us look at ourselves and others with way more empathy, less judgment. It makes us question what success even looks like when all we see are these curated images. Is it the perfect photo? Or is it the resilience you showed getting through something tough that nobody saw?
That's a great question. The resilience part.
The sources definitely suggest it's the resilience.
Okay, so what does this actually mean for you listening? What can we do, like practically, to live a bit more truthfully when the world wants a performance?
Good question.
The sources had some really simple, but I think powerful ideas.
Yeah.
3 small things you could even try this week. I'm kind of excited about these because they feel doable.
And they're not just tips, right? If you think about the impact small actions have, these are really tools for building resilience, better relationships with yourself and others. The research supports this stuff.
Yeah. First one, try to be real with one person. Sounds almost too simple, maybe, but think about it. Instead of the automatic "I'm fine" text, maybe message someone you trust, a friend, family member, and just actually tell them how you're really doing, the good, the bad, the kind of overwhelmed. Just one person.
Yeah, that selective vulnerability again, even with just one person, it builds so much trust. It creates that safe space,
Yeah.
The sources show this little act of honesty chips away at that internal pressure to seem perfect. It boosts psychological safety.
Okay, second idea, log off for a few hours.
The digital detox.
Yeah, but not necessarily in a huge dramatic, I'm deleting everything.
Yeah.
Unless you want to, just take a break. Consciously.
Give your brain a rest from the comparison machine.
Exactly. Go for a walk, maybe read an actual paper book.
Yeah.
Stare at the ceiling, whatever. Just exist for a bit without the feed. Be present in your own unposted life.
And the benefits of that, even short breaks, are really well documented in the sources we looked at. It clears your head, reduces that constant info overload,
Right.
and it helps reset your baseline away from those skewed online realities. It grounds you in your life.
Okay, and the third one. Celebrate the quiet wins.
Oh, I like this one.
Me too. These are the things that definitely don't make flashy Instagram stories, but they are so important. Like making your bed when you didn't feel like it.
We're handling a tricky conversation well.
Yeah. Or just calling your mom. Or honestly, just getting through a day that felt like a total marathon. These are vital parts of your story.
They're the character development scenes.
Totally. The quiet bits that make the whole film richer. Your real unposted life.
And acknowledging those unseen efforts, celebrating those little wins, it's huge for self-compassion, for building validation from within, not just waiting for likes or external praise.
Which the world rarely gives for just making the bed.
Exactly. But the sources frame these as actual tools for resilience. They help you appreciate the whole movie of your life, not just the action sequences.
So wrapping up this deep dive,
Mhm.
we really want you to take this message in. The life you don't post. It is just as important, maybe, honestly, even more important than the one you do.
It really is.
That's the space where you actually grow, where you mess up and find the nerve to try again, where you sit quietly, where you heal, where you figure stuff out. It's all the behind-the-scenes stuff that makes the final cut meaningful.
So maybe next time you're scrolling and you feel that little comparison monster creeping in,
Yeah.
just pause, take a breath,
Yeah.
and maybe ask yourself this question, a final thought for you listening. What small, unposted moment from your day, maybe even from today, are you going to celebrate and really own for yourself?
Instead of just dismissing it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
How might valuing those quiet parts change how you feel about yourself, how you connect with others.
And just remind yourself, kindly, you're doing better than you think. You really are.
Take care of your offline self. That's where the real story unfolds.
That really is the real story, isn't it?
Yeah.